What's up, budget buddies? It's Kim. Welcome to Debt to None. And for those of you that are returning, welcome back. So, in this video, we're going to talk about budgeting, right? What an awesome thing to do. But the funny part about it is that I did not know that. First of all, for any of you that are out there that have been thinking about budgeting or maybe have been told you need to start budgeting and you just don't want to do it, you know what? That was me. But can we talk about the benefits? Honestly, now is the time to start this year. Okay, we're in the beginning. It's time to get the finances in order. It's time to start getting rid of that debt if you have any, and to achieve those savings goals that you've been thinking about for so long. So let's talk about why you should start budgeting now. What are the benefits? Budgeting is a really important skill to learn. The first benefit of budgeting is to help you to recognize your spending habits, right? Like if you're spending too much money in one area, maybe you're spending too little in another area. So for that, you're going to want to track your expenses. By tracking your spending, you can identify those areas where you're spending too much or where you could be saving more money. And so then you're able to make those adjustments, and that way you can be sure that you are using your money wisely. So I'm able to do that by using this app that I absolutely love. I've showed it before here on my channel, but I mean, I can't say enough good things about it. It's called the Spending Tracker, Spending Tracker app. And I love it. Nothing fancy. It doesn't have like a fancy name. And I know there's so many good apps out there. So basically, you want to find the one that works best for you. And for some people, that's just paper and a pen, pencil and paper. There's nothing wrong with that. It still works. But for me, a digital budgeter, I love this app. I do. And I understand that, like I keep saying, you got to do what works best for you. But let me show you what I love about this and how it works. So with tracking your expenses, it's so easy to do. Here on this page, this is where you're going to add either a transaction, right, where money went out of your account, or you're going to add income. So you've got the two spots here, expense or income, right? And then I also love that it keeps track every month of how much money you have in your account. So for me, for the month of January, it shows that here at the top that I ended December with 46, 22, 32. So then that was carried over into January. Now with this app, it uses that amount of money, whatever your carryover is, as your income. I mean, it's not really my income, but I don't mind that it kind of allocates it towards income because it knows that that's the amount of money that I'm working with, in the month. So, I don't mind. It looks a little funny when I look at it as a whole, but I'm like, it works. And then just as each expense is going out, I just quickly tap that plus sign, make sure the date is right, and boop, 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 type in the amount, the category. That's another thing that I appreciate about this app. I do have the pro version, which was like maybe $3. Am I undercutting it? Okay, it was no more than 5. I can say that. It was no more than $5. I do have the pro version where I'm able to add as many categories as I see fit. I appreciate that. So I just thought, of the different categories that I use in my budget and added them all here, and it does the work for me. I mean, besides entering the transaction itself, it does the work for me. It splits it up. On the front screen, you see with the pie chart, which you guys know, if you've been here before, it's my favorite. It splits it up in each category. It tells you the percentage the percentage of your money that's going towards that category. I love that. And then over here, you just have all the categories laid out and then the amount that you spent for that category. It's great. And then the balance, I always make sure that this balance that's here in my app matches the balance of my checking account. And you know what? Because I'm always importing each transaction as I go. I mean, I check my bank account pretty regularly throughout the day just to see if those auto payments, you know, went through. If I see one, okay, boom, I plug it into this app. So I know exactly how much money I'm working with at all times. This is the safest way for me as a digital budgeter where I'm not caught off guard. So yes, I love this app. I absolutely love it. One last thing I'll show you really fast is this export. You can export it as a PDF. And the reason why I love this feature as well, because you see the dates of your transaction, you see the category, any notes that you've plugged in to know the specifics of that transaction, and then the amount. I love that. And then after you see all of your transactions for the month, then again, it shows you the expense category and then the income categories. It's so neat because I'm not a spreadsheet girl. I'm just not. I think they're awesome. I just don't know how to do them. And I'm like, I don't want to think. I let the app do the thinking for me. So yeah, I can't say enough. You would think that this company is paying me, but they're not, of course. I just really love this. And this has helped me get control of my budget and move in the right direction when it came to my finances. So I greatly appreciate it. If you're interested, go ahead, check it out. I downloaded it from the App Store. It's probably on Google Play as well, but I'm an iPhone. It's a good way to recognize what's going out that you don't use anymore. Like those subscription services, a lot of those are just like forgotten, and then your account is constantly being charged. So this way, when you're paying attention, you're like, okay, I don't need this, right? What is that? I don't need that. I don't use that. That's what I did early on when I first started budgeting. And let me tell you, I was not a fan of budgeting several years ago. I thought it was way too restrictive and limiting, and I just didn't like the sound of it. Matter of fact, when I got into it last year, I was so excited. I wanted to share what I had learned with my friends. And I was like, who wants to learn about budgeting? And all of them looked at me like I was like growing something green and slimy out of my face or something. I have no idea. But it was just like, you know, no one wanted to. As a matter of fact, one of them was like, not me. I was so bummed, because I don't know, I'm having fun. So the first benefit is identifying your spending habits and knowing where you need to make adjustments. The second benefit is it can help you reach your financial goals. For me at this time, I would say my financial goal is I want to have a really hearty, chunky emergency fund. I recognize this is something that is vital. And for any of you that have been here before, or have followed any parts of my journey, you may have seen that my debt has increased during my journey. Why? Because actually my emergency fund wasn't as chunky as I need it to be. So at this point in my life, my number one financial goal that I'm focused on outside of the paying off the debt is building up that emergency fund. For me and my family, $20,000 in the emergency fund is ideal. So that's the second benefit of starting to budget now. It also can help you to save for other important goals like retirement, or maybe some of you are looking to buy a home or you need a car. That's another thing for us. I would prefer to buy a car straight out rather than taking on more debt. I haven't done that in many years. I have done that several years ago, but it's been a long time. For many years, I've been, taking out auto loans. I would like to just pay for a car straight out. So, with me getting more control of my finances by budgeting, I can, stash away some of that savings and maybe be able to do that. I don't know. It's a goal. I'm not sure. I mean, I'm saying that I'll never take out an auto loan again, but I thought I wasn't going to increase my debt, and I just did. That's another video, though. Another benefit of budgeting, it can help you get rid of that debt. For many years, I had carried thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of debt. I didn't think anything about it. I was like, everyone has debt. What's the big deal? Whatever. Okay. I actually had a maxed out credit card at $17,000. Yeah, it was maxed out and it was above the credit limit. Shame that they let you do that, and then you get charged another fee. Mm. Oh, don't you just love those credit card companies? Yes, I had that. I was dragging thousands of dollars of debt for years, basically on a very modest income. Some would consider my income level low. Some would, say, oh, that's not that bad. But I'll just say on a very modest income, I was throwing $400 every month towards that credit card. And that was really difficult for me because I wasn't bringing in that much. That was a lot of money. For me, it was a lot of money. And it was barely covering the interest. I mean, that is killer. It was barely covering the interest. And I was like basically giving it all I had. That's not great. I will say, since I got on the whole budgeting train, I have been able to figure out what's wasteful spending and restructure everything I'm doing. And I'm able to throw a lot more towards debt, which is crazy, crazy. But it started with getting everything in order, taking a look at the big picture. What am I doing? What am I spending? What should I not be spending on? What can be cut? What needs to be reduced? What needs to be increased? Just looking at the whole picture, I was able to make those adjustments, and I'm still on a very modest income. So that's another benefit of budgeting now. Start now. You can tackle that debt in a more advantageous way instead of just staying at that same level because you're managing those minimum payments or whatever. You're not behind, but you're not getting anywhere. That was me. And that was frustrating. And then lastly, and I feel most importantly, budgeting can help you just in your everyday health. I don't know, some of us get really stressed out, when we have bills to pay and we don't know how we're going to do it, or we're thinking about all this debt that we owe. I found that actually taking on this budgeting journey has given me a sense of control. Like, okay, I can't control everything in life, obviously, but I can control for the most part what I'm spending and how I'm spending it. Sometimes things come up unexpectedly, like very large expenses, like I have recently had happen to me, but there's still that control there, because I have such a tight rein on what I'm doing. The stress and the anxiety that I once had, a while back when I was just dragging debt from year to year to year to year, and using my credit cards to get me through a certain time period because I didn't have enough money in my account to cover something that I wanted. I remember the stress that I was under. I remember how I felt, and it was hard. I don't ever want to go back to that. So I can say that my anxiety level and my stress level is definitely reduced for sure. And I do credit that to starting this whole budgeting thing. It's a smart move. I understand that it can seem like, oh, this is so just overwhelming and there's too many methods out there. And how do I budget? I don't even know where to begin. I get that. I totally understand that. And you know what? That's not as hard as you think. So, next video, let's talk about that. What method should you use? There's so many out there. Which one is right for you? Which one's the best? Stay tuned. See you next time.